Hi everybody, this is Stephanie with Beach Potato Embroidery. I am working on our Christmas stocking zipper bag from our Zip Zip Hooray collection. This bag here has a zipper at the top and it comes in two sizes, 8x12 and 9.5x14. So we have this size. I'm actually going to be remaking it in some new fabric and I'm going to show us how it all goes together. So I printed out our instructions and I stitched step 1. This is just a placement stitch. It's showing us where our zipper goes. This line here will actually be taken out later on, but it's kind of just giving us a good guide to be able to show us where to place our zipper. So I'm lining up the teeth of the zipper here in the middle part, just with that line. We have a wider zipper using a YKK zipper there, and we're just going to tape this in place with some painter's tape. I'm on step 2, that's color 2. The color right now, it really doesn't matter because we're not going to be seeing this color. Right now we're just joining our zipper to the hoop. And I slowed my machine down to the slowest setting possible so that way the zipper doesn't possibly move on me. I just find it a little bit easier to manage on that slower speed. And our zipper pull is taped off to the right. We got the pull on this side right here. I got the extra part hanging off. You can trim it if you want to, if it's in your way. For step 3, we're going to flip the hoop to the back, and we're going to be looking at this part of our placement lines from the zipper, and we're going to tape our lining to the back side of our hoop. So this is my lining. I'm putting it pretty side down, and I'm lining it up with the bottom part of the zipper here. So it's just going to be taped in place along that line, and then we're going to just kind of fold this over and tape it out of the way. This part of the fold doesn't really matter, it just needs to be tacked down with the tape so it's not in our stitching field, because the machine is going to sew from here to here on the front side and join this to the zipper. I'm using the painter's tape that is the Pro Sharp edition. For some reason the Pro Sharp sticks better than regular painter's tape. I don't know why. I get it at Home Depot, Lowe's, you can get it anywhere. I taped along the sides there. I taped it to the front, kind of just pulling it over, and I taped it along there. Again, it's just stitching here to here. How you tape this doesn't really matter. It just needs to be out of your stitching field. So I'm going to flip the hoop over to the front, and now we're going to tape our next fabric to this part of the zipper as well. So I have our white leather that we're placing on the top of the stocking onto the zipper. We're just going to line that up at the bottom of the zipper and tape this in place. And so now that's all taped in place. We're going to bring this back to the machine and we're going to sew the back lining, which is already on the back side. We got our top fabric here for the cuff, and we're going to join this to the zipper. And right now the thread color doesn't matter. We're on step 3, which is color 3 on your machine, and it will follow that in the instructions. So if you ever get lost and you're like, what step am I on? What color am I on? Your machine's going to tell you what color you are on, and it might be in a different spot depending on what machine you're using, but we're on color 3 out of 19. There's going to be 19 steps to match with each color. So now I'm going to take our batting that we have. You can use any soft and stable, Bolzol, polyester batting, cotton batting, it doesn't really matter. On this part here, you can choose whatever thickness you'd like. I'm going to lay this on top and put it just underneath that stitch line. So we don't want it over or under. We just kind of want it really close because it's going to fold down on top of that at the next step. So right now this is all set. We're going to just tape this in place and we're going to tack down our batting. Right now we're on step 4. We're tacking down our first piece of batting. And I'm keeping it on the slow setting just so that way I can have a better reaction time if anything moves or adjusts on me. I'll put it back up to full speed on my machine when we're doing the appliqué and when we're doing the quilting and stuff on the actual stocking. We are now on step 5, and we don't actually have to move the hoop or anything. We can just take this tape off and we can bring down the white leather. I did change the thread color to like a light gold color thread. You don't have to change it yet because you're not going to really see this. This is just going to be tacking it down. I just got it in preparation for the quilting that I plan on doing on the stocking. So I'm going to pull this down here, hit start. It's now doing the quilting on the faux leather. If you were to add a name and you wanted to personalize this, after this quilting step is done, that's where the name would be added, and you would just toggle through your steps here to be able to get to that part of the design to where you had a name being stitched out on there, and then you would just go back to and resume your original steps with the instructions. We're now on step 7, and we just need to trim this about a 1/4 inch away from the stitch line. So now that this part of the leather is trimmed towards just a 1/4 inch past the stitch line, we're going to lay our snowflake fabric. This is our newer one for our newer kits. We're going to lay this down pretty side down, and we're going to tape this in place. We got a bunch of excess fabric, so we're just going to fold this just like we did on the backing previously with the lining. And we're just going to kind of fold it and tape it out of the way. The machine is going to be stitching from here to here to join this to the leather. So we're going to take this back to our machine, and we're going to let this fabric get joined in the hoop. Now that the fabric is joined to the leather, we're going to pull down our fabric. We take off our tape, and we're just going to cover the rest of the stocking up. For step 8, the color doesn't really matter what we have on. It's just going to be tacking the fabric down, and it won't be seen in the last steps. So we're just going to hit start, and we're going to tack our stocking fabric down. Step 9 is going to be doing the quilting. And so you can pick whatever color you like. You can go with another red to have it blend. You can go with a gold to have it stand out. I'm trying to go in between. This is a red and green variegated color by Glide called Christmas Blend. So I'm giving this one a try, and we'll see how it turns out. We are now on step 10, and we're going to place our glitter fabric over the little boot and angle that in place to where it's all completely covered, and we're going to tack this down. I trimmed our glitter fabric to that stitch line. I got pretty close to those stitches, and now I'm going to slide our hoop back in, and we're going to angle our next piece of fabric for step 11, which is going to be the red glitter fabric, and we're just going to place this on an angle over that boot size, make sure it's all covered, and we're going to tack this down. So all of this extra material that's to the outside of the stocking, we're just going to leave that in place. We're not going to trim around the edges because it's going to be part of our seam allowance. So the only part that we're really trimming is anything inside this stocking to where we're going to have a satin stitch at. Step 12 is just changing the thread color to do the satin stitch on the boot, and I'm doing a red. Step 13 is going to be doing the satin stitch on the white, as well as the decorative stitching up at the top of the cuff of the stocking. We are on color 14, step 14 out of 19, and so once this part is done, we'll be working on assembling the lining and the layers of the stocking. The front of our stocking is all complete, and now we're going to flip the hoop to the back. We're on step 15 with our instructions. It tells us to flip the hoop to the back, and we're going to pull our lining down so we can stitch our placement stitches for where to move the zipper to. So now that our lining is free, we're just going to pull this down, and we'll tape this in place and bring the hoop back to the machine. We're not actually worrying about this yet. We're just going to be stitching a couple placement stitches here to tell us where the zipper needs to go at certain steps. So now that I have this taped in place, I'm going to bring it back to the machine. All right, we got our little placement zipper line pulls in place, and now I'm going to pause this, and we're going to do a second video explaining how it all goes together. So stay tuned for part 2 of how we turn this into a full-fledged zipper stocking.